Joining us now is Curtis Ellis, Senior Policy Advisor with America First Policies. He's also the Chairman Emeritus of the American Jobs Alliance and the author of the Curtis Ellis Minute. Curtis Ellis, great to have you.
Great to have you. I sent you one last night, so you have a new one for today.
You sent that to Al, right?
That's right.
Good. Don't send it to me. It goes
in a black hole.
No,
send it to Al now. Make sure Al gets it to you in a timely fashion.
Al Green? He's a machine, dude.
He's a machine, all right. That's what we need. We need more machines.
Al's like a robot. Al will get it to you.
But good. Robots don't get coronavirus.
If you send it to me and Kara, then we run yours, and Al fixes it, and we're all mixed up, so forget that. So you're following protocol.
That's right.
Just like
in these
Governor
Cuomo. In
these
trying times, we must follow protocol.
Are you in New York or Washington?
I am in New York. I am locked down in New York.
Do not go to the park. Cuomo says you'll be arrested.
Right. I can't go to the park and play basketball. Governor Cuomo said you can go to the park, but don't play team sports. He apparently plays basketball, so he can say with authority, you can't play basketball and be 6 feet apart from someone else. Otherwise, you're a lousy basketball player.
That's not much
yesterday.
Defense. Curtis, 10 minutes. A lot to talk about. Steve Bannon just went on. He wants to do three things. He wants a federal lockdown 2 weeks to 30 days. Everything stops. He wants to shatter the curve, not bend the curve. He wants $3 million to flood the zone. And then he wants medium and big companies bailed out by the government so they don't get an upside-down balance sheet. What say you?
Well, we're seeing in Washington the usual. We're seeing the usual suspects come up looking for money, and we're seeing the usual suspects in the legislative branch jockeying, and the usual suspects in the deep state trying to play with this. The president has been very clear, as was Steve Bannon. No buybacks. Period. We're going to lend you money. No buybacks. What we saw in the bill that didn't make it through the procedural vote last night, no buybacks, but the Treasury Secretary can waive that. Steve Bannon, the president, is very clear. I want to help the workers. Anybody who gets money from the government can't lay off the workers. The bill that was killed last night said they shall keep their employees on the payroll to the greatest extent possible. So we see all these weasel words and wiggle room written into the bill, which just completely guts it. That's how they gut you in Washington, with these little clauses built in that can be left to interpretation. And who does the interpreting? Then the squadron of Gucci loafer-clad lobbyists descends on the deep state bureaucrats and writes the regulations that says, what does it mean to qualify for a waiver? And basically, all of their clients now must be given a waiver. And what does it mean to the greatest extent possible? Well, it means if the moon is full on the day you decide to lay people off, that's okay. And so everybody lays people off on a full moon. So this is what we saw with the tax cut bill. Steve said he didn't want to see buybacks in the tax cut bill. The president said he didn't want to see any tax cuts. There's been a lot of good reporting on how for example, the repatriation of money was supposed to come here to build factories in the United States. But then when the regulations got written, that all got written out.
Right, so they just bought the stock. The cash never made it back to the U.S. for an investment, which was the whole object of the repatriation bill.
The whole
purpose
of the whole tax cut.
Yeah,
we were there at the campaign. Tax cuts, tax reform, regulatory reform, trade reform, energy reform. That's going to get the economy going. Lower the tax rate so that businesses don't have to go overseas looking for better tax rates. Okay, we gave better tax rates here in America. And what did they do? They didn't bring their money back and build factories. They brought their money back and bought back stocks, which is now all evaporated in no time at all. They bid up the price of their own stock because the executives at the top are compensated not with cash the way you and me and every working American gets a paycheck. No, they get stock options. So when the price of the stock goes up, their personal fortunes go up. So they use their own money to inflate their own pay. And I can't wait to see how many people we see sold their stock, at the top of this before everything crashed down, like those 4 senators. How many executives did the same thing?
The purpose was to invest. Now, had they taken the money and invested in machinery, equipment, jobs, energy, the things that they were supposed to do, they would all have those now. Instead, they bought the stock, got up their wealth, got the options, sold it, bought more. Now it's evaporated. They have nothing. And you know what? It's like deja vu all over again. '08, here it comes, same thing. And to the Democrats' credit, they were like, you know what? We've already been through this. We're not going to do that, so we're just going to hold the thing up. And I kind of agree with them on this. I kind of agree with them. Now, they're trying to put other nonsense in there, like, whatever Pelosi's going to do, have a new health care plan or something that has nothing to do with this virus and the economic bailout. As far as stopping this thing from being another corporate piggy bank, the Democrats have done that, and I applaud them for that.
Yeah, exactly. So the Democrats try to put their favorite little things in there, like taxpayer-funded abortions, or where was it, California, one of these states, among the essential services, they're going to cancel elective surgery, but among the essential services are abortion and whatnot. The Democrats try to put their favorite things in, and the lobbyists try to put their favorite things in. I applaud the Democrats for trying to keep this thing clean on the corporate giveaway side. Unfortunately, they're trying to stick other stuff in there that doesn't belong in there. The deep state is working hand in glove with the corporate lobbyists and with other bad actors to basically screw this thing up. And look at what happened with the last tax cut bill, as I explained, and look what's going on with this whole this stupid manufactured controversy over chloroquine, over this. It's very, very illustrative of how the deep state works. So you've got this drug that was approved for malaria. It's been in use since the 1940s, chloroquine. And doctors have been using it to treat the coronavirus. I don't want to call it COVID-19 because that sounds like sounds like something other than a disease. They're using it to treat the Chinese virus, and but that's not what it says on the label. It says you use this take 2 for a headache. It doesn't say take 2 for coronavirus. So that's what they mean by off-label use. Mm-hmm. So now there's a lot of evidence out there that it works. One of the actors in the TV series Lost, he said he was treated with that and it worked. There's a couple of studies out there that it worked, and but Anthony Fauci says, I'm a scientist. We haven't run the controlled clinical trials with 2,000 random samples. We give it to 2,000 people. We give 2,000 people.
We don't have time for that. I mean,
we don't have time for that. But you see, okay, so here's how it works. The FDA was set up to prove the safety and the effectiveness of drugs, right? Because back in the days when it was founded, people could sell anything, put it in a bottle, sell it, and you're drinking turpentine, right? So no, we're going to control this. But what happened over the years is the FDA came to be controlled by the drug companies. And what do the drug companies want to do? They want to invent a new drug that's under patent. Nobody can make money on chloroquine. Get it? Nobody can make money. Anybody can make chloroquine. So no one company can make a fortune producing 1 million tablets of this because anybody can make it. It's no longer under patent protection. So they have no interest in saying, let's save lives and give everybody chloroquine. Mm-hmm. Their interest is, let's invent a new drug, and then we have the exclusive rights to it.
Right.
And what's happened with the FDA is they're now in bed with the drug companies. Over the decades, they have come to adopt, because what is the bureaucrat's job? Running clinical trials to prove the safety and efficacy of a medicine. So they have a vested interest in running clinical trials. The drug companies have a vested interest in inventing new drugs that they have under patent. Who's left out in the cold? The people who are sick and dying. And that's how it works.
It's just unbelievable, Curtis. All right. I've got five minutes, and we got to roll. We got the Surgeon General on at about 8:07 today. So, Curtis, let me just ask you this: straight out. Bannon wants a 2-week lockdown that's going to go into 45 days because nothing is going to get solved in 15 days. You know it and I know it. I want metrics. What do you think of that?
I want metrics. I want to see metrics because right now, what do we have? No metrics. There are none. Nobody knows how deadly this disease is. Nobody knows. Right now, the death rate in America is running somewhere around 1.5%. But that's an inaccurate number because we don't know how many people actually have the virus. On the reported numbers of 35,224 confirmed cases and 471 deaths, that comes out to about 1.5%. The one controlled experiment that's been run, the Diamond Princess, the cruise ship that was stuck off Yokohama, Japan. Mm-hmm. There, the death rate, the mortality rate ran about 1%. But that was a ship full of old people, mm-hmm. and we don't know how many of those people had pre-existing conditions. Mm-hmm. In Italy, everybody who died, 99.9% of them had three morbidities. They had high blood pressure, diabetes, and, root rot and bottom defoliation. And they were all between 80 and 95 years old. So we don't know. This Stanford epidemiologist, Ioannidis, they haven't purged his piece because he's off the internet. He has said, we don't have the metrics. We're making decisions based on no information.
No facts. And then you go to Italy, and I know Bannon brought that up, and everybody wants to say, we're Italy in 2 weeks.
And they all smoke over there. They smoke like chimneys.
They were all the people dying there are over 80 years old. The whole northern Italy is older people. They've been smoking since they're 15. They don't eat well. They're in bad health. They got all kinds of problems, and they kept flying in the Chinese Wuhan workers and hugging them like Den sent a video out. They had this whole campaign that said,
hug a Chinese so you're not
today.
Racist.
Now, Den thinks, maybe the Chinese did that to spread the virus. I'm not going to go there. I got bigger things to concern myself with than that, but I get where Den's coming from. But either way, you were hugging Chinese people. They had a public PR campaign. Hug a Chinaman today.
Right. Now, what we know, and this is the thing, and it's in New York, is we don't want the hospitals to become overwhelmed, to become flooded with people. That is the real concern, and that's what's driving everybody to say, lock down, social distance, wash your hands, don't touch your face, don't touch anybody else's face, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, because we can't overwhelm the healthcare system. Is that the case in North Dakota? I don't know. Right. In Fargo? Is that going to happen in Fargo? Is that going to happen in Grand Rapids? I don't know. It seems like it's happening in New York. You can't, and I don't care how much money you spend. If you spend $2 trillion, you can't build enough hospital beds in the 2 weeks between now and when this when this wave is going to break on hospitals in New York. I do know, so you have to do something in these densely populated cities where you've got something going on. I don't know enough. We don't have the metrics, and we need more metrics. And the other thing is, look, the hysteria that the media is generating does not help. I think they should be giving out paper bags to people to breathe into the bag because they're all hyperventilating and they're thinking they've got shortness of breath. No, you're hyperventilating. Breathe into the paper bag. I wonder how many people show up at a hospital and are not sick. I don't know. Now, I'm sure the hospital personnel are smart enough to not admit people who are like, excuse me, you're hyperventilating. You don't have coronavirus. Please go home now. And here's a bag. Breathe into it. But the media, this has shown the fallacy or the danger of the audience-driven, the advertiser-driven media. They have every interest to spin people up into a frenzy, to keep them watching TV so they can sell that audience to the advertisers and to Madison Avenue. Unfortunately, the people today, too many, not all, but too many of the people running the show on these cable networks and TV don't have a larger sense of purpose. that, yes, we want to make money and we want to be good for the bottom line, but we have a duty to the country, the duty to the profession, a duty to humanity, a duty to God to be honest and look past our own personal interest here, and let's give accurate information. I heard a guy on this morning with Maria Bartiromo, Ryan Payne Capital Management. He's smiling and happy. Yeah, we should shut down everything. We got to lock down everything. Get a grip on this because we need certainty. Business needs certainty. And first of all, there is no certainty in life. That's why you pray to God, right? You pray to God. You want certainty, pray to God. God will take care of you. You don't know how, but that's part of the riddle, okay? But then he says, we have to lock everything down like they did in South Korea. Wrong. They did not lock everything down in South Korea, you idiot. Shut up. Get off my show.
Unbelievable. It's the hysteria
They locked down
of the media.
one city in South Korea. I'm not saying that's
insane.
what we should do. I'm just telling you, bad information, no metrics.
We need facts, and I'm opposed to any type of a government federal shutdown without very clear metrics in place. Look, 7,500 Americans die every day, right? So, what percentage of that we have no clear evidence. And my fear with any of these, 2-week government mandated shutdowns is what happens after the 15 days. I mean, what Bannon says, shatter the curve. What does that mean? Like it's gone? Because it'll never be gone. I mean, we'll all be dead before it's gone. So I don't know what any of this means. And my fear is when you start doing this, there's no way back, because then what is the justification to reopen anything? That's
right.
The problem. So,
and you're always going to have these deep state actors, and I don't mean that in like a conspiratorial sense, but the bureaucrats in the health department and in the FDA, the pure food and drug pigs, and all these people are going to always find an excuse. Well, it's not good enough yet. It's not good enough yet. We don't have 100% certainty. You never have 100% certainty. The people that went across the Sierra Nevada did not have 100% certainty they'd make it to the other side and start a farm in California. They didn't know. Okay, that's the nature of life. Now, that's all I'm saying here is, but the bureaucratic mindset is 100% certainty. And likewise on Wall Street. Well, business likes certainty. Yeah, sure, we all like certainty. I get it. But you know what? Those who take risks are the ones who win big, right? So don't give me the business like certainty. You open a business, you don't have certainty you're going to succeed. And I was always taught that the people that take the risks are the one who deserve the big payout at the end. So you don't have certainty if you're taking a risk. So, I mean, this whole thing is predicated on nonsense. I'm not talking about when I say this whole thing, I don't mean this disease response.
No, yeah.
All this talk is predicated on nonsense. Business like
Curtis
certainty.
Ellis, I got the Surgeon General on. I got a
Good.
roll.
I can't
John
wait
Fredericks
to hear him.
Radio Network.